Welcome back, Middle Masters. We're taking another dive into community management. Last time we looked at metrics that help us understand the activity of a community and a little of the energy that goes into the conversations happening, but now let's talk more about the engagement of it. Let's head into the community dashboard and the engagement category. We've looked at the influential people report before and how you can use those influences to boost conversations. You might find that in certain communities, internal comms or community admins will lead the list, but you want to see them drop down the list and see members and leaders climb. Now let's look a little bit into the danger of influencers. Well, danger is a little dramatic, but more of the risk of relying on them too much. This influencer risk score down here shows how much you might be relying on these top people here. The risk comes with the potential that these influencers might leave the community or the organization and what happens to the conversations if they leave. So the lower the score, the better. But wait, there's more with this. If you're a SWOOP admin, you can unlock even more insights by checking out your top 20, 30, or even 40 influencers. Now let's slide over to the mention index report. This is your secret weapon for sparking meaningful conversations and cutting through the noise. In general, a high level of tagging through mentions is an indicator of a more efficient and targeted communications within communities. While it may not be appropriate to include an @mention in all messages, it would be considered positive if a highly consistent level of mentioning is maintained. And our research shows that @mentioning can lead, on average, to 73% more replies on a thread. Back to the persona distribution report that we looked at in the last tutorial video. You can use this to check what your persona is in a particular community. Do you have a balance of interaction? Do you start a lot of meaningful conversations? Or do you feed the discussion in the comments? It can be helpful for any self-reflection if you're looking to change your behaviors or confirm what you're already doing so well. Now on to community benchmarking. If you're running or analyzing some communities and want to see how they stack up against each other, you can do that here. Let's go into the benchmarking category. If you want the benchmark to cover a certain date range, you can adjust that here. Make sure you lock in the date range first and then click the plus icon. Start by giving your comparison list a name. Let's call this one Business Development versus Marketing. Once you have created the list, you can start to add communities. Just search for a community name and then put a tick against it. Keep doing this until you have all the communities you want to compare. We'd suggest that you include one community you know works really well, and then use this community as your benchmark for high performance. When your list is complete, click OK. Let's see how your communities compare. You can start by looking at the range of activity happening within the communities. You can compare the mention index and the influencer risk score that we just went over across your communities. A popular metric to gauge engagement within a community is interactive users. You can use this metric to see what communities are doing well and use some internal best practices to boost your other communities. What community of yours are the most engaged? Well, thank you again for joining me for another tutorial. Be sure to check out the next one that will be diving more into the threads dashboard. Happy swooping!